Looks like Ben Shapiro, Jeremy Boring, and Leonard Loomer, they are all on full-blown attack mode on Candace Owens. And we're going to talk about it. Let's get into it.
Nikki in the building, baby. Nikki in the building, baby. In Cahoots podcast. Yeah. I keep God first, that's real. True crime on the table, facts on steel. Investigations, I chase that trail. If the story don't add up, I set it straight, no fail. I spot fake tears, I spot lies. Sketchy little moves, I see through the disguise. I'm fair, I'm funny, I bring that light. I call you out, then I'll still be polite.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of In Cahoots Podcast. My name is Nikki. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, click the like button, the hype button. Also, don't forget to click the join button to become a member, and make sure your post notifications are turned on so that you know every time there is a new video. All right, guys. So it looks like Daily Wire and the gang are all over Candace. Not only are they attacking her, they're also attacking her husband, George, and they are trying their best to take her down and destroy her family, allegedly. So today, we're going to go through a few clips. Yesterday, Jeremy Boring made a whole video basically attacking Candace. But first, yesterday, Candace Owens went live on X and she aired out everything. So we're also going to take a look at some of those clips.
And they have been trying to draw blood for years, and they now have Laura Loomer, who what they're largely trying to insinuate, and what Jeremy says there is people should dig. You know, we heard this report and we didn't do anything when we heard this report, but people should dig and follow Laura Loomer to see. I don't know if George was guilty of this crime. He's kind of caging this. I don't know if George did this DUI or if he was charged, but we were approached about this and we made the noble decision not to say anything until Candace attacked Erika Kirk. What they're trying to get at the end of what he's saying there as well is like, hey, Laura Loomer is suggesting, and he's now suggesting, that my husband and I, and this is categorically false, I cannot say it enough, paid off someone. She has been saying that he was involved in a DUI hit and run. She is saying that, and they are doubling down and saying that this took place and that George and I, implying that George and I may have paid someone off and then lied to the federal government so that his record was clean as he was an immigrant. So let's interpret this the way that it is and understand why we are not going to fight fire with full fire. What they are saying, what they are hoping, this is a full-blown conspiracy theory, is that the conspiracy theory proves true and that they are successful in breaking up my family, because it would be a crime. Make no mistake. If we paid someone off to make a brandishing weapon crime of the century go away, and then we lied on our immigration docs, his immigration would be revoked. My family would be split up.
Funny how they say that they're doing all of this because Candace Owens is trying to take down Erika Kirk. They have been at this for 3 years. This doesn't have anything to do with Erika Kirk. It sounds like it has a lot to do with resentment and anger and paranoia. When Candace got fired, it just seems like they wanted her to just be homeless, bankrupt, family torn apart. They did not want her to succeed. She took it upon herself, got her podcast going, and she was extremely successful at what she was doing. And it ticked them off. And they're upset. So now they're throwing all these excuses of why they're upset, trying to justify it. I've never, ever experienced men, and I know they're out there, but men that are so dead set on taking a woman down. The way that Ben Shapiro climbed up on Megyn Kelly's chair, basically trying to force her to talk down on Candace or condemn her. I mean, the desperation was real. Trying to force the godfather of one of her kids to condemn her, telling him to say it. That is odd. Now, I try not to talk about Logan Loomer because that person is absolutely disgusting, disrespectful, unhinged, just a nasty person, in my opinion. But even that obsession is just weird. Don't you guys have something else to do than to make fake AI generated photos claiming that Candace's husband is gay. I mean, it really just seems like Levi Loomer won't be able to sleep or eat until she sees something terrible happen to Candace. The determination that Levi Loomer has is just sick. Let's check out what Jeremy Boring had to say about George Farmer.
In recent weeks, public records and documents have surfaced alleging that Candace's husband, George Farmer, was arrested in Nashville in August 2023 for DUI and leaving the scene of an accident. When Candace insists that this has nothing to do with her husband, that it's some completely different George Farmer in Nashville, Tennessee, well, that denial strikes me as pretty audacious. I was first made aware of the arrest and charges, leaving the scene of an accident after wrecking his truck at 3 times the legal limit while carrying a loaded firearm, shortly after it happened, back when Candace still worked for me at the Daily Wire. People who had access to the court documents approached me with them quite early, before the situation was resolved. By the time Candace started to engage in more and more evil behavior, the arrest was pretty well known in conservative circles. I was personally approached more than once by people asking me if I would speak out about the charges. In every instance, I refused. Not because I thought Candace's conduct was defensible, far from it, but because I believed then, and still believe, that family should generally be off limits. But of course, Candace doesn't believe family is off limits, just ask Charlie Kirk's widow. And so people now have decided to play by Candace's rules. But here, too, the lack of journalism online is very much a part of the story. While the charges are now public knowledge, making Candace's denials look increasingly strained, there's almost no reporting on what actually happened to the case. There's still no reporting on what happened to the charges themselves. Did Candace and George pay to make them go away? Did the police make an error or violate George's rights in some way? Were the charges brought against him found to be untrue? I mean, the police arresting you doesn't mean you're guilty after all. Responsible journalists would be pursuing these questions if there were any responsible journalists left to pursue them.
Wow. The manipulation is real. Funny how he wants to slide that in there, calling all journalists. If you don't report on Candace Owens' husband, you're not a good journalist. You're not a responsible journalist. You should be calling this out. Shame, shame, shame. This was actually my first time really watching a Jeremy Boring video. And he is boring. That is interesting. But the most interesting part of this video is the dog. I am such a dog lover. So I noticed that the poor doggy is just knocked out sleep because of how boring this man is. If I was sitting that close to one of my dogs and I even so much as flinch, my dogs are going to pop up, see what I'm doing. The amount of times that this man crosses his legs and uncrosses his legs, that dog said, listen, I'm not getting up. You're not talking about anything. You're not staying asleep. I'm staying asleep.
Ben believed truly, and Jeremy said that he believed it too, that I was devising some secret plot with Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson to bring down the Daily Wire. I was brought into an office after Ben stood up on a table and called me a faux sophisticate, and I was like, what's going on? And they basically wanted me to apologize to Ben for him having insulted me. And then because during that week I had gone on to Tucker Carlson for an appearance that had been planned before Ben got on the table, he somehow in his head thought that it meant that me and Tucker Carlson were plotting against him. I don't know how Nick Fuentes got into the scenario, but they brought me into a room and they questioned me and I didn't know what to say. I was genuinely 9 months pregnant and I was so shocked that they even thought this was a plausibility that I was just disturbed by even the insinuation. Obviously, it was not true. I didn't even, at that time, Nick Fuentes wasn't even on social media. He was on Cozy or something like that. And I was not watching his show at all. And I had only spoken to Nick Fuentes once in my life pertaining to Kanye West about 2 years earlier. And I told him that I was forthcoming and honest. Anyway, when I was fired, my firing docs consisted of, I think it was about 35 points for firing. And all of it read like one long paranoid schizophrenic rant. The first 5 pages were pictures of Groyper tweets, meaning obviously that they still believed that the conspiracy theory was true and that somehow I was working with Groypers. There was not a shred of proof to this. So among their reasons was Groypers. I think they themselves were the ones that leaked to TMZ that part of the reason was because when I went on Fresh and Fit, they have money that comes in. And I guess when they were talking about Ben Shapiro, there was a register sound, like a cash register sound. I don't know if that's unique to Rumble, if that's a DJ sound. I had never done this show before. In fact, I was given the opportunity to go on the show from the Daily Wire. The PR person said, Fresh and Fit contacted, do you want to do this? I said, sure. And that was a part of the reason I was fired, because of a ka-ching sound effect, which they said was anti-Semitic.
Yep. Like I said, and just like Candace just said, it's paranoia. It seems like they were threatened by her and paranoid. But can you imagine Ben Shapiro on a table? I really wish we could have a photo of that, right? Like when I imagine Ben Shapiro on a table, I imagine him. Yep, there it is, everybody. That's it. That is what I imagine. Look how little Ben is. He's so cute and little. And look at his little horsey. Oh, that's a cute horsey. That's his ride. That is actually his ride. I like that. I like this. This is what I imagine. We couldn't get a photo, guys. Don't worry. I got you. This is what it looked like. Just ask Candace. I bet you I'm right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to wrap this video up. Please don't forget to hit the hype button. It helps the video a lot. Also helps the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, comment, share, all of that good stuff. Don't forget to click the join button to become a member, and make sure your post notifications are turned on so you know every single time there is a new video. Guys, it has been real. Until next time, this has been In Cahoots Podcast. My name is Nikki, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.